Our thoughts are linked to reality and future. What we think every day, almost 90% of our thoughts are from the day before. Thoughts leads to choices. Choices leads to behaviors. Behaviors force actions. Actions create experiences. Experiences create emotions. And finally, emotions leads to thoughts again. Let's turn information to knowledge and knowledge to wisdom. Join me on the journey to seek enlightenment and vanquish ignorance. Let's say due to the economic situation you are having negative thoughts. Negative hypothetical thoughts like, what if I lose my job? What will happen? I won't be able to pay my bills. I will lose my house. What I'm going to do next? That type of hypothetical negative thoughts. Due to these negative thoughts, you will make poor choices like eating junk food, wasting time on binging TV just to escape reality. The bad choices will lead you to have a bad behavior, an action that will create the experience which you don't really want. Bad experience will create bad emotional state. In that bad emotional state, you are unable to think straight and will have negative thoughts again. Let's take a look at another example. One day, you had a thought, I need to look after myself and improve my fitness. What would you do? You might join a gym and start exercising regularly. What will happen as a result? You will see some improvement in your health and fitness. You had a thought that led you to make a choice. Your choice made you join the gym and start exercising. The action of exercise and behavior towards your health and fitness create a different experience. This new experience will create some emotion. In this case, it will be a good emotion, as your improved fitness makes you feel better. As you are feeling better, you will have good thoughts. Let's explore this further. What is personality? The way you think, feel, and act is your personality, as these are the aspects others recognize you as who you are. What I'm going to say next might sound a bit strange, but it is true. You have to be someone else to change your personality. What does it mean? If you want to be happy and content person, you would need to abandon your negative thinking and act like a positive person. You might struggle with this first, as your brain is used to thinking negative thought, but you have no choice if you are serious about experiencing positivity. We see some examples around us where some people idealize famous people, like some singers or actors. What these people do? They dress like them, speak and act like them. They try to adopt some look or personality they want to be. On the same principle, you have to think, feel, act, and behave like the person who you want to be. The bottom line, or the secret formula, is change your thinking to change your personality. Let's move on and see how our brain works. The brain is a collection of memories and records of our past experiences. The brain is enclosed in a box called the skull. It doesn't have direct contact to the external world, and it is dependent upon body's input organs like eyes and ears. Our senses are constantly feeding our brain with information, and brain does its interpretations according to the past experiences. Let's understand this with an example. A person tries some food for the very first time and they like the taste of it. The color, texture, smell, and taste will be registered in their brain. When they see the same food again, the brain will create the excitement emotion on the basis of the past experience, even without tasting it. Similarly, if they don't like the food, it will create an opposite emotion, and it will keep on creating the emotion on the basis of that experience, until that person doesn't alter that somehow. The question is, if we follow same routine every day, how it will change our brain, because we are feeding our brain with the same information we did yesterday and the days before. In the field of neuroscience, it is called neurons that fire together, wire together. This clever phrase was used by famous neuroscientist called Donald Hebb. Hebb's axiom reminds us that every experience, thought, feeling, and physical sensation triggers thousands of neurons, which form a neural network. When we repeat an experience over and over, the brain learns to trigger the same neurons each time. By the age of 35, our bodies are running on autopilot because we have performed certain actions and behaviors repeatedly. As a result, body takes over and brain becomes secondary driver. It is called a habit, as our body knows better than our brain. Around 90% of most people's beliefs and behaviors are hard-coded in their brains due to countless repetitions. If you are confused, we can look at this with an example. When you start learning to drive a car, your focus and concentration was on the driving and the road ahead. You don't think things like your plans for the next day or your favorite music. But what happens after a while, when you learn how to drive, your brain is not doing much as you are listening to your favorite music and thinking about your future plans or speaking to one of your friends over the phone, but driving at the same time. When I said speaking on the phone, it means the phone is connected via Bluetooth, and I didn't mean holding the phone while driving. Well, back to the point. The reason you are multitasking is because your body is driving the car and your brain is busy thinking about other things. It only interferes when something unusual is going to happen. Things like the car in front of you slows down abruptly. We have learned that when body becomes brain, the brain is not doing much, is it? So what we need to do to keep our brain in charge? If you want to keep your brain healthier, you need to learn new skills. It will create new synaptic connections in your brain. According to Eric Kandel, the famous neuroscientist, if we learn a bit of new information, it doubles our synaptic connections from 1300 to 2600. These connections disintegrate after days when we don't practice, which means practicing and remembering of that information make newly developed synaptic connections stronger. So it is proven that new thoughts or information lead to new choices. New choices should lead to new behaviors, and new actions should create new experiences. New experiences should produce new emotions, and new emotions should drive new thoughts. Feelings and emotions are the end product of past experiences. We can remember those experiences well because we can remember how they feel. When you are in the midst of an experience, all of your senses plug you into that environment. As you are gathering all that vital data from external world, rushing back to your brain, it creates jungles of neurons to organize themselves into networks. The moment those neurons string at their place, the brain generates a new chemical, and that chemical is called a feeling or emotion. Once you feel that emotion, you create a long-term memory. As all good and bad experiences are scribed in the brain, you will hear some people saying that I behave in a certain way towards others because they treated me badly 10 years ago. Or I stopped speaking to my friend or a relative because they said this, and this 20 years ago. What does it tell you? It tells you that those people are living in the past from last 10, 15, or even 20 years. How do people manage to change their mind, or shall we say erase their past, and living in the present is when a big event takes place in their lives, most likely a trauma. This trauma wakes them up. When you keep listening to the same song, you learned it by heart. When you sing along, sometimes you are so fast in the delivery of words that you sing the lyrics even before the recorded tape. Similarly, if your brain is the record of the past and keep thinking about same things over and over again, it will create same feeling in the body, and the body will act proactively and ready to experience the same as it was feeling in the past. What if your body remains in this state all the time? How can you create new emotions? And remember, old emotions will not let you have new thoughts. So your mind and the body is in a loop that keeps both of them in the past. Most people believe that they can't control their emotional reaction and the emotions take over the driving seat and can drive the vehicle for as long as they want. It can take up to few hours to days, even in some people, it can last up to weeks and months. This prolonged state of mind is called mood. You hear people saying things like, I'm in a bad mood, or that person is in a mood. When the mood becomes some sort of semi-permanent thing, where the person goes in that state of mind called mood, quite often it becomes a familiar territory. For example, you can see some people are unable to control the steering wheel while driving. In 1 minute they are in one lane and the next minute driving in two lanes. After a while, back to the lane where they're supposed to drive. Same thing happens with the human brain. The person is in the mood, in other words, the familiar territory, without realizing. The state of mind in which the person goes in and out is known as temperament. Temperament is a state which is difficult to hide because others have already started to affiliate the person with the temperament. And even before the person realizes, the temperament becomes so permanent that it becomes their personality. All the great people have a vision, and this vision is in their head. They haven't experienced it, but they believe in the vision. Believe so much that it feels like a reality, right in front of their eyes, like we watch a film on a big screen. You must have experienced some people being emotional while watching the movie, that they start crying, thinking it's all real. What is that? What do you call it? Here is the interesting point. If people can become emotional by watching a film, in other words, they made this their reality, can we not use our imagination and have same experience? If it can be a bad one, it can be a good one too. Neuroscience proves that you can change your body with your thoughts. Body is not intelligent enough to know whether the emotional event happened in the past or it is happening in the present. Mind can easily trick the body by implying that it is happening in the present, and you can trick your mind by making it think the way you want. As a result, your mind and the body are in a harmonious state, believing it to be true and actually experience its effect. Let's take an example. One day you are traveling back from work, tired after a long day. A thought comes to your mind. Now you are speaking to yourself. The life is hectic and I am always busy with work. I should keep a good work-life balance by giving more time to my family and friends. Then in the same moment, you think how nice it would be to spend some time away from hectic lifestyle on a holiday. Now you are in a different state. You already start picking a destination, the preparation required, the journey, and then the experience of being on holiday. All of a sudden, a big smile on your face. The feeling in your heart, your body is so light and you are not tired anymore. A few moments ago, you were tired, but now you are feeling very fresh and energetic all of a sudden. If you can do it once, you can do it twice or even more whenever you want. If you are feeling depressed due to any reason, you can feel good too by changing your thought. Once someone said, worry is product of one's thought and not their circumstances. The way you had that thought about going on holiday made you feel great. Similarly, what if you had a wild thought to do something big? As soon as you had that thought, the frontal lobe gets activated. Frontal lobe is the CEO of the brain, whereas the rest of the brain is running on set of instructions. Whenever you are learning something new, you are giving a task to the frontal lobe, some work to do. The frontal lobe picks up existing network of neurons from the other parts of the brain and creates new patterns in your brain. Here is the big statement. Whenever you think differently, you are changing your mind, as mind is the brain in action. This action moves the person's mind and body from the past to the future. Although it is easier said than done. Why? Let's understand this with an example. A person had some bad experiences in the past where he or she was not treated fairly. Whenever they think about their past, they become sad and complain about it. Let's say one day they decide not to think about the past and live in the present moment. You know what will happen after a few days? It will feel unfamiliar and uncomfortable as they have become used to of certain mindset. because the bad experience has become permanent in their brain. So what's the solution? Be persistent and don't think about the past. Eventually, those connections in the brain will become weaker and weaker to that extent that they will disappear. Congratulations! Now you are a different person. You are not the person who you were a few days, weeks, or months ago. If you keep up with the positive thinking, these new connections will become permanent in your brain because you are practicing positivity over and over again instead of old negative thoughts. All of us have that neurological and biological machinery to change ourselves, whoever we want to be. If you are interested to know more about parts of the brain, their function and neurons, please check my videos on brain anatomy and its functions, and the second one is neurons, the building blocks of the brain. The links are in the description. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please like, subscribe and share. Also leave a comment down below to let me know what do you think of this video. Thank you.